Emergency pod. What's up, Charlie? Micah gets traded. We got to talk about it.
That's right. Micah Parsons was traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. He was immediately extended on a 4-year deal where he'll be getting paid $47 million annually. We should get into winners and losers. But first and foremost, I need to ask you, on the scale of 1 to Luka, how high is it on the Dallas trade surprise things for you?
I mean, it's definitely not Luka. It's not a surprise.
Huh. I mean, you were on this. You were on this.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that he was just going to be signed 11 a.m. the morning, the first next Thursday before the Eagles game.
I had the good fortune of being close to my friend Dan Graziano, who'd been telling us as soon as a couple days ago, like, no, this is actually a real thing. And of course, his reports, he has to hedge a little bit. But like when we're not on TV in the green room and in the pre-show meeting, like you get the real stuff, and it's like, you kind of know that it's gonna happen, and you kind of know what teams are serious about it. So I wasn't surprised about it, and it's something that we knew was a possibility. It wasn't until yesterday that Graz started telling us, like, hey, I think it's a real thing, and it could happen really soon.
It happened fast. Even today, we're taping this a couple hours after the news broke, and Graziano, a couple hours before the trade was actually executed, tweeted that for the first time they were listening to offers. And there's a million implications of this for the NFC North, but I think we should start with the Cowboys. I mean, like, first of all, Jerry Jones, he always can steal the news cycle right before the season starts. Before it was extending CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, and he's like, I got a second move. You think I'm a one-trick pony of just giving guys record-setting contracts the day of the season starting? Like, I can unveil La Tigra or Magnum. I'm not just Blue Steel.
I wanna challenge myself to put a positive spin on it, because I think anyone who's been listening to this show, and frankly anyone who's been watching this, like, understand all the reasons, right? They understand all the reasons why this doesn't make sense. I guess we could run through them, but it seems obvious that if you're going to make a run and you have a player that's Hall of Fame.
They're not making a run. That's why it makes sense.
I know. Right. That's why it did make sense or didn't make sense.
No, if you want to make sense of it, it's that the Cowboys were never going to make a run with Micah Parsons. Jerry's actually more reasonable than he thinks, and he realizes the core he has is not close to championship quality.
That's the way to try to make it make sense. However, it's clear that it wasn't your plan. And one would assume that if this was a part of a more like comprehensive plan, these would have been decisions made a while ago. But it's still going back to the negative. I don't know that I can do it. I don't know that I can make it feel positive. I just don't know, because the 2 first-round picks presumably are going to be late, like 20 and up. I mean, they could be worse than that, which is not likely to find a Micah Parsons back there, but it's possible. Someone who is as impactful, and Kenny Clark is a very good player, but
very good.
Yeah, and it'll help improve. I can't say it's an overall improvement of their defense, but it will help in areas that they need. But it's not the game wrecker centerpiece that Micah Parsons felt like he was.
I can spin it positively. I'm a Commanders fan, and I'm going to feel a lot safer twice a year for my spindly quarterback.
Gosh.
And look, if you really want to spin it positively, it's like, Cowboys fans, you're actually doing something for the future for the first time in a long time, since they started Dak over Tony Romo the first time, which might not have been smart. And like, look, there's a chance. Like,
what future? What future?
Jerry Jones's holograms might really enjoy watching those draft picks.
What future though? Because it's like, the hardest thing to find is the quarterback. They have a quarterback who's 32, who I think all of us, maybe he hasn't gone that far, but all of us recognize that he's talented enough.
I'm on your side. I was trying to play devil's advocate here.
No, I know, but that's the point. It's like, what future? You're going to be looking for a quarterback again soon. Like, at 35 and Dak's 32, most quarterbacks start to fall off. And so maybe Dak is going to be one of these special guys who can go later in his career, but his recent injury history, like, makes that a question. So
I mean, I was going to make it. This is too serious for me to make a Joe Milton joke that they found it. But no. I mean, look, like when I see this, it's to your point that even if this works out, even if they somehow find a quarterback or they find a game-wrecking defensive end, like Micah Parsons has 50-plus sacks in his first 4 years in the league. He's 26 years old. He has the best bend of a defensive end since Von Miller. He's unique in the fact that he can play all these different ways, chase down, run on the other side of the field. He's completely special. When he came back from injury last year, it was an immediate change to how they played. So even if it works out, it's still bad process because you have this guy who you drafted, not even in the top 5, who turned into this immediate impact player. This is the easiest extension you'll ever get. He wanted to do it before the TJ Watt deal was done. He wanted to do it in a way that would be more cap friendly so it would age better. And Jerry Jones messed up the negotiations. He tried to negotiate around Micah Parsons' agent. He made it toxic and he made it untenable. And I'm actually like, for the player's sake, I'm so happy this happened. I'm so happy that an owner can't completely disrespect his entire organization over and over and over again and get away with it. And like, maybe this happened because Micah was so good that he's valuable enough to get 2 first-round picks and a really good defensive tackle back. But guess what, Jerry? You would have got more if you did it before the draft. If you didn't want to sign this guy or if you wanted to be an unserious outfit, well, you could have been unserious a few months ago and actually gotten the Herschel trade package.
But that would have been serious.
That would have been something I would have been like, oh yeah, you're smart. You know your window's over.
It's funny that this all happens a day after the Ravens signed their star Hamilton to an extension with no hoopla. Like, it's not a situation that you want to have. When you have a guy, you pay him. But anyway, I think that has been discussed a bunch. You opened a door that I wanted to go down a little bit about the like player power. Like, this does feel like I might be reaching and trying to spin it in a way, but this is not something that happens kind of regularly where players of this caliber in the NFL are able to force some sort of action. But it's also a result of Jerry Jones just refusing to engage in negotiations like that. Yeah, no matter where I start with my takes, I end up coming back to some Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys criticism, which I feel like you can find anywhere. I want to give you something different, but that's kind of the story of it. Jerry Jones is messing up.
I feel a deep understanding as a Washington sports fan who's been tortured for the people of Dallas right now.
Why? Okay, why are you pulling out the highlighter that matches your shirt? What is going on? And why do you have little skinny markers? You don't have children. Like, what do you have little markers for? You got little Crayola markers.
I'm in Carrie's office and she likes to doodle. And I'm look, man. You know how committed to the game I am?
I also saw
caught in an arm sleeve.
So, for you guys who don't know when this happened, Charlie was playing tennis, so he came home in order for us to do this, which I appreciate. But I know you play a lot of tennis. I've never watched you play tennis. I didn't realize that you're one of these cosplay people. Like, you dress up in an arm sleeve and you buy special merch. If you were a biker, you would have the full yellow Lance
I'm literally
Armstrong
just wearing a red Nike t-shirt that's not even microfiber.
It's a tennis t-shirt though. I can tell by the logo.
Yeah, no, it's a tennis t-shirt.
You're trying to be one of those guys. You got an arm sleeve. Why do you need an arm sleeve?
I injured my wrist one time and then I wore an arm sleeve and I never took it off.
So you're Allen Iverson?
No.
You got an AI arm sleeve?
You know the funniest part about this?
No, I already do know what it is. Is that you have
the two funniest parts about this are one, I'm now never gonna wear this arm sleeve again, and like my wrist be damned. So like if when I come in a sling one day, that's on you.
No, that's a Wahoo move. Don't pull a Wahoo on us.
And then that's our producer, Coach Wahoo, who had a Southwestern print jacket that he was so embarrassed of. He hid under a chair when he walked into a room because he thought Domonique would mock him, and then it made it way worse.
But the point is, the jacket is cool. I just make fun of people because that's what we do. So your arm sleeve, if it's necessary, wear it.
I mean, look, I was hammering the ball. My forehand was fizzing off the court. Let's be honest about this. It was clinical. It was actually, I did start playing a lot worse after the Micah trade happened because I started checking my phone and I was like, I got to get through this match. And then, anyway, whatever.
Did you win?
But yeah, of course. When I was a little kid playing basketball, I did have an Allen Iverson finger sleeve, and I had tiny little like fat sausage fingers that actually just covered my entire finger, like from end to end.
Oh god.
Okay, let's before we get out of here, Packers side of this.
Champs. Yeah,
it completely changes your outlook for them in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Lions fans and Lions quarterback should be very upset because week 1 just changed. There's enough time to ramp up because that's who the Packers have week 1, right? I think it's the Lions. And yeah, I think that it changes the division. I think a lot of us have overlooked the Packers. And we talked about on this show, their defense was pretty good last year. Not pretty good. They were above average. They were a good defense last year.
Way above what we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, without a star at this level. And now Rashawn Gary came on the last couple of years. He's pretty good. You put Micah Parsons opposite him. Like now this defense, it changes the complexion of this defense. And Jordan Love was awesome last year. It was like especially the end of the season when he seemed to get fully healthy. If he can put it together, if Golden turns out to be the receiver that we expect him to be, like this team was a legitimate Super Bowl contender before. And I think Micah Parsons, it changes it. Like we talk about this all the time, how you need someone to close games out. He's going to close games out. He's going to change third down situations. He's going to make this defense a lot better and this team a lot better. So, yeah, I think they were a contender before and they have to move up even higher in that NFC, which feels super competitive but also wide open.
Yeah. I mean, to me, you're adding, I don't even know how this feels because it's like, maybe the second most important position in the NFL, and you're adding a generational player in his prime, like right before the season starts. I know this has happened a few times with trades in the past, but nothing that I feel like this to this level of it. And Green Bay's you talk about organizational stability. They're so stable. Yeah. They have LaFleur run such a great program, and they were the trendy team last year that for some reason this year isn't quite as trendy, maybe because Jordan Love had been hampered by injuries and he injured his thumb again this preseason. But this is any team in the league that was able to add Micah Parsons was going to become a considerably better defense. And the reason I know that is we saw Dallas become a considerably better defense last year when he came back from injury, almost unrecognizable from the unit they were before. So this is adding a really special player who is just a game wrecker. Yeah. And this we were so enamored with the offense, the wide receivers. What was this team going to be? And it's like their identity changed like that.
Yeah, and I think the price that they pay for it doesn't feel like an overpay, assuming that the quarterback stays healthy and the draft picks are as high as low, I guess, as we expect them to be. Yeah, this feels like the Packers benefit from the Cowboys being an unserious outfit is what it feels like to me. Congratulations, Green Bay. Be like Reggie White, free agency. All right, that was fun. Get back to tennis. I'm going to go pick up Declan from football practice. Take it easy, buddy.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.